Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome to this episode of Car Rant. Be prepared. If you don't like politics or anything of that nature, I would probably steer away from this video. But if you're very curious about my opinion on this subject, obviously you clicked on this video for a reason, keep watching and you'll see why I'm not a fan of the Trump tariff plan. Since the window's down, let's do this.
Good evening.
Oh my gosh, that rear bushing is so aggressive. You're not here to see me do pulls, you're here to find out about my thoughts on the Trump tariffs that are going into effect, or have already gone into effect. Actually, I think some of them have already hit the markets. And you're here to get my opinions on the steel and aluminum tariffs because those directly affect the automotive market. I'll put it to you in two ways: my initial reaction, my initial thoughts and what I thought, and then after I had studied some and those thoughts, because they're very different after reading up and also some of the changes that were implemented recently. I want to know, and I want it out there, that I'm not here pushing any party agenda. I'm not here to bash any political leader. I'm literally just here to give you my thoughts as a car guy who's actively working on building a car and buying parts from around the world to build his car, because I'm just a consumer. Now let's start with the basics. My initial reaction was, this is
Horrible.
because my initial thought was that it was on all steel and aluminum products. What I found out now is that it's only on the raw materials, which makes a world of a difference. And the reason why it makes a world of a difference is if it was only on the products, that means stuff like a hood or struts or even just a simple door panel would cost a fortune, because it means that, say for example, you had a hood or a door that was $100 overseas, on its way over it would get the 25% increase, which means it would be $125. Then you'd have your shipping fees, which would probably put it around $175 total. And then you'd have your seller's fees, who are trying to make a profit, putting on probably another 25 to 50%, which means it's somewhere around $200, $225 to $250 for a simple $100 door panel. Just as an example. That was my initial reaction. Having looked into it further, I've realized that it's not necessarily the products, it's the raw material itself being brought in from other places, which means that things like raw steel to build, say, American cars might go up. Now, General Motors came out and said, hey, listen, most of our steel doesn't actually come from foreign countries. Most of them come from like Canada and the States. With that said, it means that it's not as much of a crisis moment for American car makers like General Motors. It's more of a crisis for people who are importing their steel into the States, i.e. people like potentially Honda, Infiniti, Lexus. Those are all made in the States. They're not made abroad. In fact, Honda's main place to build their cars was Ohio for a long time. Just a fun fact. So with all of that said, what are my thoughts now that I've found out that it's not exactly the products themselves, but it's the raw materials? I'm not as worried. I'm not as worried at all, because my thought was that if it was the products, it means that Japanese and German cars and British cars and whatever other country we want to throw out there, their costs would go up tremendously. It also meant that their cost of ownership would go up tremendously, which in turn would lead to more and more economic issues, and it meant that buying those particular car parts would be insane. I mean, as it is right now, buying an OEM Mitsubishi Evo headlight is stupid expensive. I looked into trying to get myself a new set of Evo 9MR headlights because they fit into the Evo 8 setup. They're identical. And they would have cost me $1,400 to import one from Japan for one, not for the pair, for one, left or right. Stupendously high cost. And that's why I went and I'm buying some secondhand. That's going to be a special surprise if you've been following our Instagram page. That was what the big news was about, was that we're actually changing some more of the appearance of the outside of the car. Hopefully for the better. You'll find out more about that later. But the bottom line is, I'm not as worried as I thought I would be. In fact, a lot of economic people that I was reading up on, like in business, what was that business magazine? I'll have the tagline here somewhere. But if several business articles, I'll just put it that way, were telling me that a lot of people are assuming that the car industry is going to absorb the cost, that it's going to eat some of the cost. Personally, I think that two things are going to happen. It's going to eat some of the cost. It's going to put the rest of that cost on us. So be prepared to see some major price hikes on some of your favorite cars and models. The main thing that I've noticed too is that it's trucks that are going to have a huge impact, because as it is now, there's already been a tariff put in place on trucks and commercial vehicles. So that means buses and, you know, service stuff, things of that nature, all have a nice big tariff on them. Not as crazy as 25% as far as I'm aware, but there's still enough of one to make you go, what's gonna happen next here? I really don't know. But yeah, for the 2-second, you know, Spark Notes version of my opinion, I don't think that this tariff is gonna kill us. It's gonna hurt us, but it's not gonna kill us. We'll be all right. If it means 25 cents to the dollar on certain things, yeah, that's gonna hurt. But you gotta remember, steel is becoming less and less prevalent in our automotive industry as a whole because of it being replaced by aluminum, better carbon fibers, better fiberglass, things of that nature. So all in all, not crazy concerned, but enough concerned that I'm making this video. But because this is an opinion piece, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Let me know down below. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this relatively short and simple version of the entire situation. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're really hoping to push for some big numbers here going into season 5, which is actually going to be next weekend. We completely forgot about taking the break between seasons so that we can get some ideas and some parts together to have a lot of good content moving forward. So yeah, forgive us, but we hope you guys love us still anyway. Love all you guys. God bless y'all, and we'll see you next week. Peace. Peace. That is a beautiful 944. What?